So the nice guy that you're referring to, as almost a heads of terms for the rest of the conversation, is somebody that is not being authentic to themselves, and they're living a lie to please other people. You mentioned validation,
Right.
and I know that essentially a component of this is the covert contracts that really sit beneath this. So do you want to just explain to us what those are and why those are the fundamental components of what makes a nice guy in this context?
I love talking about covert contracts. I think a lot of people tell me that's maybe their number one takeaway from No More Mr. Nice Guy is the covert contracts. And I'll just say up front, I am a recovering nice guy. I mean, I started working on my stuff about 30 years ago. If you'd met me 30 years ago, 35 years ago, I would have said, I'm a nice guy. I'm one of the nicest guys you'd meet. I couldn't figure out why everybody didn't have this paradigm. I was trying to be different from my father, different than all the bad men my mother had complained about. I'd heard women complain about in junior high and high school, online, the angry feminists. So I was trying not to be that guy. And if you're repressing so many things about you, your needs, your wants, your opinions, your sexuality, which is what nice guys pretty much do, they push it down. Again, we're chameleons. We're trying to become what we think other people want us to be, hiding whatever might get a negative reaction. If you repress all those things, like your needs, your wants, your sexuality, your emotions, your opinions, they still have to get expressed. I mean, especially like sexuality, it's still going to go somewhere. It's too big of a force to just tuck it away somewhere. And we can't live without getting our needs and wants met. So that means if we think we're, and this is true for a lot of nice guys, if we think we're bad for having needs and wants, that people are going to reject us. I mean, just listen to enough red pill stuff nowadays, and it's almost don't be vulnerable, don't be needy, don't have needs and wants, don't expose yourself, don't be, but how the fuck are we supposed to get our needs and wants met if we don't acknowledge we have needs and wants? Now, we are accountable for taking responsibility for getting them met, and we are accountable for surrounding ourselves with people who are interested in helping us get our needs and wants met. But because nice guys, for the most part, don't think it's okay to have needs and wants, or they think everybody else's needs are more important than theirs, or they can only get their needs met if everybody else's needs have gotten met. They operate by 3 covert contracts, and all of the covert contracts are, as the term implies, they're covert, they're hidden, they're secretive. Even the nice guy often is not conscious that he's got this contract, this if-then, this giving to get dynamic going on. The other people, the rest of the world, God, don't know about the other end of the contract that the nice guy has. Maybe God does. He knows everything, right? So, but the nice guy is living by these 3 if-then propositions. And number 1, covert contract number 1, is if I'm a good guy, then I will be liked and loved. And so if I just, if I do all this virtue signaling, if I'm not like the bad men, if I'm not like my father, if I'm not one of those guys that just want sex when he's talking to women, if I'm that good guy, I'll be liked and loved. Now, this also plays out in what I call nice guy seduction, where we're nice guys. And this is how I used to always meet women when I did meet them early on, is that, I would try to impress them. I would listen to them talk about their problems. I'd be attentive. I'd be different than the other men. I'd hide my sexual agenda. I wouldn't even know I had a sexual agenda. Nice guys have a terrible math problem. They think, if I hide my sexual agenda, women will want to take their clothes off. Those don't add up. So, you do things for them. You solve some problems. You make a car payment for her. You help her sister move. And then we think, well, not only will they approve of me, they'll want to be my girlfriend and they'll want to have sex with me. But of course, that leads to what we frequently nowadays call the friend zone. And I tell men, women don't put a guy in the friend zone. A man puts himself there in the way that he interacts and approaches women. Now, it's interesting. If you go out and Google, do word search for nice guy on the internet, you'll see a lot of my stuff, a lot of interviews and things I've done. But you'll also find blogs, and if they're written by a woman, go check it out. Because almost any time a woman writes about a nice guy, the title will have something like "Beware of the nice guy. He's not so nice. And really, what they usually talk about is that nice guy seduction, where, oh, I met this guy. He was so kind and caring. He was there for me. He listened to me. He helped me out when I had problems. And then when, he got around to asking me to, go on a date, and I said, well, no, we're friends. Then he gets mad. Then he gets passive aggressive. Then he gets resentful. Then he blows up. Then he's aggressive. They're not so nice. Well, they're actually truly describing the pattern of the nice guy when he's using that covert contract, trying to get the woman's approval, validation, get her as a girlfriend, get her to sleep with him. It is curious to me, is like when the women are writing these blog articles, it's like they're totally oblivious that this guy had no agenda, that he was just being nice. But women truly do know why men talk to them and listen to them talk about the problems. We want to see them naked. But, the woman acts like, oh, I had no idea he was even interested in me. Of course she did. But the guy was practicing nice guy seduction. That's covert contract number one. And it often leads to us not being so nice. And it leads to us usually not getting what we want. Covert contract number two, another if then. If I read your mind and meet your needs without you having to ask, then you'll read my mind and meet my needs without me having to ask. Well, lots of problems here. One, I really can't read your mind, and I'm going to give to you what I think I want to give to you so I can feel good about myself. It's called borrowed functioning. If you have a need and I help you meet your need, then you'll value me and I'm important to you. And so I'll pretend to read your mind. I'll give what I think you need to receive, even if you really don't, but I think it is. Then you'll read my mind, which you really can't do, and you'll give back to me, but you didn't even know there was a contract here. So you didn't know you were supposed to be giving anything back. But very minimum, you're supposed to appreciate me because I did all these kind things for you. And of course, if you're a woman, you'll be my girlfriend and want to have sex with me. So nobody knows that contract even exists. So it often does lead to a lot of resentment, frustration, passive aggressiveness, hurtful behavior. Covert contract number three. If I do everything right, then I will have a smooth, problem-free life. Well, nobody ever does everything right. That's just impossible. And life is not smooth or problem-free. It's kind of a Peter Pan-ish, little boyish way of viewing the world. And nice guys do tend to be kind of immature in that way of just thinking, if I do everything right, cross the T's, dot the I's, nobody will ever get mad at me. Nobody ever criticize me. Nobody find fault with me. Nothing bad. I'll never get dumped. I'll never get ghosted. I did it right. None of those things should happen. So these three covert contracts not only make the nice guy often inauthentic, dishonest, not nice, but also frustrated and resentful and passive aggressive because they don't work. But the nice guy thinks they should, right? They should work. I'm doing everything right. This stuff should work. And one of the things I talk a lot about in the book is that when things aren't working the way the nice guy think they should, we double down and just do more of it. So we get even more disastrous results as doing more of something that already doesn't work.